everything about you. Everything about you.
All right, hey everybody, and welcome to Zenfolio Live. I'm Robert with Zenfolio Customer Success. I want to say thanks for joining us here today on the live stream where we're going to be talking about how to customize your gallery thumbnails. Now, if you're hanging out with us, watching in the chat, say hi to us. We've already got Kathleen Riley in there hanging out with us. Thanks for jumping on here and hanging out with us week after week, Kathleen. We really appreciate you. But if you guys have questions as we're going through today, make sure that you get those in the chat. So like I said, today we're going to be talking about how to customize your gallery thumbnails. So I'm going to show you how to access your thumbnails page in customize view, how to make sure that it's turned on, show you your grid and overlay options, and then show you some pretty cool stuff that you can do in Theme Designer to really customize that thumbnails page. So you're going to want to stick around and make sure that you see that. Also, guys, if you're not entered in the July photo contest, there is only 6 days left to enter. So there are only 6 days left to enter. The link to join that is in the description below this video. It says photo contest, July photo contest, something like that. So make sure that you click on that link and enter a photo. And if your photo is in the contest, you have 6 days left to be sharing that link out and asking people to vote for your photo. So make sure that you're doing that. And I'm going to be showing you guys a little bit about, I'm going to be showing you guys the current top 10 images from the photo contest as of right now. There's some pretty close people tying pretty close, but I'm going to show you the current top 10 images. And if you're not familiar with how the photo contest works, you submit an image based on that month's theme, and then you ask your friends, your family, your fans on social media to vote for your photo. The 10 photos with the most votes go before our judge, and our judge picks the winner, and the winner gets a free year of the Zenfolio Pro plan. It doesn't cost you anything to enter. It's definitely worth it. Let me say hi to some more people on chat. We've got Dwayne, Kathy, Bebopper, and Craigslist. So hey guys, thanks for jumping on here and hanging out. Like I said, I'm going to be showing the current top 10 images from the photo contest here in a little bit. And as always, as we go through this process, I'm going to be answering your questions live. So if you have any questions at all about Zenfolio, whether it's related to the topic that we're currently talking about or not, make sure that you get those in the chat. But stick around, we're going to be showing those top 10 images here in a little bit, but let's go ahead and jump into today's topic, which is how to customize the gallery thumbnails. All right, so we're going to jump in here, and here I am in my Zenfolio account, and the first thing that we need to do here is we need to load up and get into the thumbnails page in customize view. So there's a really easy way to do that, and this is the way that I recommend doing it. Going down in your organizer over here and just finding a gallery, whichever gallery you want to use, and then you're going to click on that gallery, come up here, and right-click on the right-click right here on this preview and hit Open Link in New Tab. That's going to take you to the thumbnails page, and then what you're going to do is edit it in Customize View. So you're going to go to Edit and Edit Page. Now, I always open this up in multiple tabs, and the reason I do that is because usually there's something that I need to reference on the back end. So just to show you guys how I have this set up, I have Edit View opened in one tab, and I have Customize View for my thumbnails page open in another tab, and that is how that is set up. I always recommend working in multiple tabs when you're customizing your website. It makes it a lot easier for you when you're jumping back and forth between different parts of your account. I hate to have to use the back and forth button, so this is the way that I recommend doing it. It's going to save you a lot of time. Okay, so next what we're going to do is, first of all, we want to make sure that the thumbnails page is enabled. So chances are for your account it probably is, especially if you have a newer account. But if you've been with Zenfolio for a while, you might have used an older layout, and sometimes those older layouts didn't always have the thumbnails page showing here. So what we're going to do is go to Options, and I'm just going to show you what that might look like. So I'm going to deactivate the thumbnails page really quick, and then just click that Apply button down here in the bottom. And what that's going to do is we're going to see this page right here, which is called the Photos page. Or if there was a price list on this gallery, it would load into either Quick Shop or something similar. So the first thing is, if you don't have your thumbnails page enabled, you probably want to enable it. It's probably my favorite way to let people view the images, give them a quick overview of their gallery, and then they can click on photos and see them larger if they want. So to do that, you're going to go up to Options. And if the default option is checked, just uncheck that default option. And then you're going to go, sorry, my bad. First of all, you're going to go to right up here and click on Gallery Thumbnails. So you need to get back to that thumbnails page. This is where you're going to see this warning that says the thumbnails page has been disabled. And so then next what we're going to do is go up to Options. And we're going to click on Thumbnails Page. And we're just going to say Enable the Thumbnails Page. And then we'll click Apply down here in the bottom to apply that. So now that I have my thumbnails page back, let's talk about the options that we have for customizing these. So first of all, before jumping into Theme Designer, where you can do things with the colors, you can add like a border and different things like that, let's talk about what options you have just in here in Customize View. So all of your thumbnail page options are going to be under Options. And then first of all, you can decide how you want your photos to work when somebody clicks on them. If it's a portfolio gallery that doesn't have a price list, I would probably have this open to dim the lights mode. And what dim the lights mode is that's when somebody clicks on a photo, it goes like this to a dim the lights mode, basically is what it is. Now, the other option is to have it open to a photos page. I prefer the dim the lights mode for portfolio galleries. If it's a client gallery and you have a price list, it's automatically going to switch to a shopping page when somebody clicks on that, depending on how you have that set up. All right, and the next option is we're going to go under here to Grid Options. And this is the style of grid that your photos page is using. Now, we have 4 different grid styles to use. The ones that I recommend are either Grid A or Grid B. I don't recommend using Grid C because Grid C is going to crop your images into squares or whatever kind of thumbnail width and height you set right here. It's going to crop your images. It's not going to show your images in their true orientation. Now, if you pre-crop to 1:1 ratio, this would work fine. But if you're uploading your images in their natural aspect ratios, or maybe you're cropping to 8:10s or something like that, this is going to crop your photos, and I don't feel like it's a great presentation. Grid D is a little bit of an older style option, and I'm going to show you guys both of these, but Grid D is a little bit of an older style option. You don't have a lot of room to play around with the thumbnails. You can't customize the sizes, different things like that. So just to show you really quick what Grid D looks like, if I apply this, it's going to make these images look smaller. And it's going to kind of put this really wide space in here between them. So this is why I don't like grid D. So, and then just to show you too, grid C here is going to crop those images. If I apply grid C, you're going to see that my photos, it might not be extremely obvious, but like right here, you can see these photos are being cropped because of that square 1-to-1 grid that we're using. So that is why I don't recommend using those two grids. So go back up to options. Let's go to grid options. The one that I recommend the most is grid B. And the reason that I recommend grid B is because what grid B will do is it will take your portrait orientated images and make them the same, and make your landscape orientated images the same height as your portrait orientated images. I prefer this because if I'm photographing people and I upload a landscape orientated image, chances are those people are going to appear a little bit smaller in the frame than if the image was portrait orientated. And so I want it to be easy for clients to see themselves in those photos as well as the portrait orientation. That's why I like grid B, because it makes that height the same right here. Grid A gives priority to your portrait orientated images. And let me just show you what these two look like kind of differently here. So if I go down here and I apply grid A, you'll see right here, it kind of fits in these landscape orientated images with the portrait orientated images, but it's definitely giving priority to the portrait orientated images. If I swap this over to grid B, this is going to make the landscape orientated images the same height as the portrait orientated images. And then from here, we can customize this by simply adjusting the height of our images. And so that's the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to go back to options, go to grid options right here, and the minimum row height right here is what kind of establishes the size of your thumbnail images. So if I go up to, let's say 300, and I hit apply down here at the bottom, that's going to increase the size of my thumbnail images here. All right. So just making them taller, making them easier to see. For thumbnails pages, it depends on what you shoot. It depends on how many photographs you upload. If your gallery is not going to have a lot of thumbnail images, I prefer going with a larger one. If you're going to upload 500 or 600 photos in a single gallery, having your thumbnails a little bit smaller and making it easier for your clients to browse through them is normally what I would recommend there. So again, it's really determined by the amount of images you have in that gallery on where you should set your thumbnail size. But let's go back up to options and let's talk about some of the other things that we have. In here, inner cell padding, I'm going to show you guys what that does a little bit later when we jump into Theme Designer. And then spacing between cells, this is what controls that space between the images. Now you can leave both of these set to auto and it will kind of find a happy medium that looks okay. Or if you like to control things, you can set both of these to custom and really fine tune this. So if I wanted my images to be really close, I could set that space between the cells to 0. And then if I apply that right here, you're going to see these images basically look like they're joined together. All right, so they basically look like they're joined together as one single image, obviously with the edges touching. Not something that I like, but I've definitely seen photographers who did that and made it work and it looked really cool. I prefer a little bit of space between my images. So we're going to go back to options, go to grid options, and we're going to just adjust that to, let's say, 10. Now, margins around the grid, I'm not really going to show you what that does. I'll just explain it really quick. Basically, these are just like your margins on your Word document or anything else that you're working with, right? This is kind of your bleed area. So if I put 20 pixel margin on top, it's going to force 20 pixels of space between my header menu and where my images start. So it would force my image to go down. Same thing on the sides and on the bottom. It's going to kind of squeeze those images in based on the numbers that I put in here. All right. Okay, so next what we're going to do is let's talk about the thumbnails themselves. So on the thumbnails themselves, you have a couple of different options. Now, depending on what type of gallery this is, depends on what I recommend having set up here. The one that we're working on right now is a portfolio gallery, so I'm going to show you how I set this up as a portfolio gallery. For portfolio galleries, I really don't feel like there's a need for the title to show, unless maybe you're like a fine art or landscape photographer, and then you might want the titles of that image to show. But if this is for your wedding clients, if this is for like seniors, where it's a portfolio of your work, don't feel like there's really a big need for that title to show. On client galleries, where clients are actually going in and looking at their photos, having that title set to show is really helpful, because if you're on the phone with the clients, then they can actually give you the title of the image that they're talking about. So instead of them saying, you know, I'm talking about the image that's 4 down or 4 to the right and 1 down, they can say, I'm talking about image DSC-0023, and you actually have the file name or the title of the image. Again, this is a portfolio gallery. We're going to go ahead and set this to hide. Now, your text and button placement options, these are up here. You have a couple of different places here that you can kind of set buttons and stuff to show. So really quick, I'll show the title, and we're going to set the buy button to show. I don't know if the buy button's actually here, but we'll see if it has a price list on it or not. And then we can center that stuff up. We can have social media icons showing. I'm just going to set all this stuff to show really quick so you guys can see what all this is. And then after we turn all this on, we're going to hit that apply button right here. All right, and so now there's the title showing. You see when I hover over this, there's all kinds of stuff that's showing up. I do not like this. I don't like all this stuff showing up on my images that's kind of, I feel like, distracting. And so you can definitely hide some of this stuff, and I'll show you how to do it. Here's the social media icons. Here's the title and all that stuff. So we're going to go back up to options. We're just going to make this clean. We're going to set this up the way that I would recommend setting it up if this was my portfolio gallery and if it was not for clients. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to thumbnails page. We're going to hide that title. I'm going to go ahead and hide the buy button, even though there's not a buy button showing because there's no price list applied to this. Personally, I don't really want the Facebook and the social media icons showing. Don't really care about any of this stuff showing. I want my images to appear really nice and just really clean. So let's apply that. And now we shouldn't have all that crazy stuff popping up over our photos. Okay? So those are the different options that you have right here in Customize View. But what if you wanted to take this a little bit further? What if you wanted to add some borders to your thumbnail images? What if you're a landscape photographer, or what if you're a fine art photographer, and maybe you want to make your thumbnail images look like they're in a frame so people can kind of get an idea of what the image or photo might look like framed and ready to go? Well, you can kind of do that kind of stuff, and I'm going to show you how to do that next. Now, in order to do that, what we need to do is we need to access Theme Designer. And so whenever you're working in Theme Designer, I definitely recommend, again, working in a multiple tab. And so this is how you do that. Right up here, you're going to right click on Themes and hit Open Link in New Tab. Now, what that's going to do is that's going to open a duplicate tab right here. And then you're going to go back in here again, and then you're going to go back up to Themes, and you're going to click Edit Theme right here. Now, if you cannot click Edit Theme, that means that you're using a theme that does not allow modification. Not to worry, hover over More right here and click Create New. And when you do that, just keep in mind the name of the theme that you are using. And I'm going to show you something here in a second. The theme that I'm using can be modified, so I'm just going to click Edit Theme. And so what this is going to do is this is going to load Theme Designer in a new tab. So now, just to show you guys what I have open, I have Edit View opened in this tab. We have Customize View opened in this tab. And then we have Theme Designer opened in this tab. This lets us hop back and forth between all of these different areas within the account. All right. And so now what we're going to do is in Theme Designer, if your theme was not editable, what you need to do after you hit that Create New is you just need to click Load Template, and then go find the name of your theme that you were using, click on it, and then basically what you're going to do is create a customizable copy of the theme that you were using. Now, since mine was already customizable, we don't have to worry about that. So what I'm going to do next is go to Galleries right here. We're going to scroll down, and depending on the type of thumbnails that you are using, depending on the grid options that you are using, you're going to be using different elements in here to customize your thumbnails page. Now, I set it up to use a dynamic thumbnail, so I'm going to be using this dynamic thumbnail box right here to customize pretty much everything. And so what I'm going to do is just kind of show you some really quick options. Something really quick is if I click on this, I can now customize all these different elements here on this thumbnail. So if I wanted to maybe round the corners of my thumbnail image a little bit, maybe I want to soften it up just a little bit, not have those sharp edges, I can go to thumbnail image right here. Right over here are corners, and I can round these corners up. Now I'm going to go way overboard just so you guys can see, but you can definitely just do it like a nice soft round. But I'm going to go way overboard with this, and I'm going to click save. And then what you're going to do is click save again right here, and then you're going to jump back to that previous tab, and then you're going to hit the refresh button on your browser. So you're going to go up here, hit the refresh button, and now watch what happens to my thumbnail images. Now the edges of these are round. It kind of looks like, I think my mom had a photo album from the 60s that had those nice rounded corner images. You guys remember those? Who remembers the rounded photo images that you could get printed out like on the Kodak thing? My mom had a bunch of photo albums that had that rounded edge, but that's something you could do with the thumbnail images if you want. Not necessarily a look that I want to go for, but it's an option that you have. So now let's jump back to that theme designer. So going back to that other tab, and let's just set these back here really quick. And let me just show you something else that you can do to your thumbnail images. So let's go back to 0. Let's save that. And let's just say maybe you want to give kind of a nice soft border to your thumbnail images. You can click on here, go to thumbnail images on the left, set that border to, let's say, like 1 pixel. And then I'm going to click in here, and we're going to set that to black and hit done. And then again, just the same thing over again. Save. Jump back to the other tab, and then hit that refresh button right here to see those changes. All right, so now my images have this little black border right here. All right, so a little black border, not a big change, but definitely changes the appearance of the gallery. So there's a lot of other things that you can do. Maybe you want to add a little bit of drop shadow to your thumbnails. You can do that as well. So let's jump back in the theme designer. Let's go here, let's click on this thumbnail image, and let's just add a little bit of drop shadow. And there's like pre-configured ones up here that you can use. So I'll just do that, hit save, save this again, and then what we'll do is we'll just jump back over to customize view, hit that refresh button, and now our thumbnail images should have a little bit of shadow behind them right here. So just a little bit of shadow. All right. Okay, so lots of things that you can do. You can go in there, you can play around with these, you can change the color and all that stuff. Let's talk about setting them up to make them look like they're in a frame. What if you wanted to make these images look like they're in a frame? So what we're going to do is we're going to jump back into Theme Designer, and this is where we're going to start playing around with the other option, which is this dynamic thumbnail box right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the dynamic thumbnail box, and then we're going to go up here to the left, and what we're going to do is give that a border. I'm going to go ahead and set that border to be 6 pixels. Unfortunately, that's the widest you can go. You'll see here in a second what it looks like. I'm going to leave that border non-rounded. What I am going to do, though, is in the thumbnail area, I want to simulate the photo being in kind of a matte. And so the matte color is going to be the background color of the thumbnail area. I'm going to leave this white, and then the next thing I'm going to do is just add a little bit of drop shadow behind that as well. So maybe just something like this right here. Okay, so now we have a little bit of drop shadow added to that. We've got this set up. Let's click on the thumbnail image right here, and then let's go ahead and set this up. So what I'm going to do first is go up here and remove the shadow on the actual thumbnail image. We're going to hit save. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to hit save right here. I'm going to jump back over to my account, and I'm going to hit refresh really quick right here. Okay, so far, all it really looks like is that it has a really thick black border around it. Well, this is where we're going to introduce the matting. So we're going to go up to options. Go down here to thumbnails. Nope, sorry, go down to grid options. And this is where we're going to introduce that matting. Now, if you remember, I said I was going to show you what inner cell padding does. This is what kind of creates that fake matte on the photo. So now I'm going to go to custom, and I'm going to go right here, and I'm going to set this to be 20. And then we're just going to go and apply this. So I'm going to click apply, and that is going to add some inner cell padding to this, which now kind of gives these images the appearance that they have a mat around it. Now, all I need to do is kind of keep playing around with the width of that to make this look more like a frame with actual mat. So if I go back up to options, grid options, I can go back to the mat right here, and I can set this inner cell padding to be 50. And let's make the grid images, let's make these a little bit smaller. Let's go back to 200 just to see. We're going to hit apply. And now we're kind of starting to get something like almost looking like it's kind of framed and mounted. Now the other thing I want to do really quick is just add a little bit of space, more space between those. So let's go to like 20 here. All right, so now there's a little bit more space. And so you can kind of play around with those settings and really get something that looks really cool. I don't know if this works that great for wedding photos, but if this was like a fine art gallery or something like that, it definitely kind of has a framed and mounted kind of appearance to it. And you can keep playing around with it and adjusting those settings and doing different things. Now, one other thing that I did earlier, which I thought kind of looked neat, was if we go back up to grid options, and then if we go to right here, if we get rid of that inner cell padding and we just apply that, one of the things that you can also do is you can curve the edges of the outer frame border without curving the edges of the thumbnail border. So if I go here, we can go right here to this. We can make this look round, save that. And then I'm going to take the border off of this, and then we're just going to save this and jump back in the other tab really quick and just hit refresh and just take a look and see how that looks really quick. All right, so now if I go back up to options and grid options, let's do a little bit of inner cell padding to, let's say, I don't know, let's try 5. This was just something that I saw earlier that I thought looked really cool, and I'm trying to get it to kind of repeat. There we go. That's not quite what I was going for, but you guys can kind of see the idea. So there's lots of things that you can really play around with these settings and get a really cool like custom look to your thumbnails page and really make it look different than what other people are doing. So there's lots of options that you can do here. Basically that thumbnail image is just kind of floating over that odd circle in the back, and it's just a really different look that I hadn't seen before. So I just wanted to show you guys that. Now, after you've been playing around with this, if you get something that you're happy with and you want all of your images to look that way, what you want to do is save it as default. So let's see, Will says he likes the framed look. Let's go ahead and set that framed look back up, and then I'll save that as default. So all I'm doing is removing that roundness on the corners there, saving that, jumping back into my previous tab, refreshing it, and then we're just going to add in that matting, which is the inner cell padding. So back up here to options, grid options, inner cell padding. We're going to do, let's do 25 pixels. Let's add just a little bit more matting in there. And then we're going to apply that here. All right. So let me add some more. I think I did, the last time I did what, 50, right? So let's do 55 and let's apply that. You get where you guys see what I'm doing. Let's apply that. And so now our images are back to looking like they're framed and matted and hung prints. And so this is the look that you want. This is something that you really like. The next step is just going to be to save this as your default settings. It's going to save it as the default settings for all of your image or all of your galleries that are using the default settings. And then you just need to go up here and make sure that you publish those changes. And that is now your gallery default settings, which means that whatever photos or galleries that I go to, if they're utilizing the default settings, they'll take that on. Obviously, this gallery is not using the default settings. So if I go to edit page really quick, we can go up here to options, tell it to use the default settings, hit apply, and then publish that. And now this gallery will play along with the rest of them as well. All right, guys. So that is some options that you have to go in and really customize your galleries. Give them a nice custom look. There's so many different creative ways that you guys can utilize that theme designer feature and the grid options to really give your galleries a nice customized look. I would love to see what kind of creative ideas you guys come up with and how to use that. So definitely go in there and make sure that you play around and explore that. All right. Now, a lot of you guys in chat, I'm going to come back and check on you guys in chat. But first, let's check out the current top 10 images from July's photo contest. There are some battles going on, guys. There are several photographers who are in the contest who are just neck and neck in votes. Like I said earlier, if your image is in the contest, you still have 6 days to get votes to get you into the top 10. That's all you need. You need to be in the top 10, and then our judge is going to select the winning photo from the top 10. Here are our top 10 photos for July's contest as of now. All right. Like I said, just some absolutely gorgeous photos. I love every day I get up and I go check the photo contest, and there's just so many amazing photos in there. And if you haven't checked it out yet, even if you don't want to enter, if you go click on the link below the video in the description, that will open up the photo contest. And at the top, there are 2 buttons. There's one that says enter on the left, and I was right in front of my face. There's one that says enter on the left, and then on the right, opposite for you guys, but on the right hand side there's one that says vote. If you click that vote button, that will actually take you into the contest gallery, and you can just browse through the images and vote on the images if you want to do that. Definitely go check it out. Like I said, 6 days left, guys. The winner gets a free Zenfolio Pro plan for a year. Doesn't cost you anything to enter. Definitely go check it out. All right. Well, hey, before I jump in and start grabbing chat questions, if you're watching the recorded version of this, I would love to have you come hang out with me on a live stream. But I know not everybody can just drop what they're doing and jump on YouTube, which is why I appreciate so much those of you guys who do week after week. Those are guys who are hanging out with me today. We've got Will, Frozen Time Photography, Brett, Roxanne, Love Photography, Craigslist, Bebop, Kathy, Dwayne. Let's see. I want to make sure I don't miss anybody. Kathleen, Roxanne, did I say everybody? Will Crockett. I think I said everybody that I'm seeing so far. I really appreciate those of you guys who hang out with me live week after week. But those of you guys who watch the recorded version, I really appreciate you guys as well. Now, if you have a question you'd like me to answer the following week and you're not able to join us, there's a link below the video that says questions for Zenfolio Live for next week. Make sure that you click that and you leave a question on the forum post, and I will answer it the following week. Also, if you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure that you click that subscribe button, because we go live twice a week. We do site reviews every Tuesday, and then we do Zenfolio Live, which we're doing today, every Thursday. So make sure that you're subscribed to that, our YouTube channel, so you get those notifications. And there's just a lot of great information on our channel. If you haven't checked it out, go check out the rest of the videos that are on here. We have site review playlists, we have Zenfolio Live playlists, we have a bunch of tutorials, basically to teach you how to do pretty much anything you could want to do with your Zenfolio account, all right here on our YouTube channel. So make sure that you go and you check that out. Absolutely, Roxanne, this is live. I'm not a recording. I've done a recording a couple of times just because I had stuff out going on. I wasn't able to hang out with you guys. Today, though, I am 100% live today, which I love being live with you guys. It's like the highlight of my week. It's what I look forward to every week. Looking forward to doing Zenfolio Live. Okay, I've got a question from, and I'm going to try to say your name right. I apologize if I don't get it right. Feel free to make fun of me in the chat. Shravanis, I think is how you say it, says, please sometimes show us how to quickly add watermarks to all of the images in a gallery. So a couple of things here when it comes to watermarks. First of all, if you want watermarks on all of your photos, the best thing that you can do is before you upload another image, before you upload any other image, go and set up what's called a default watermark. And the reason that I'm recommending that is because a default watermark gets automatically applied to all of the photos that you upload. And so to set that up, what you're going to do is go to watermarks right over here. And then if you haven't created a watermark yet, go ahead and create one. Hold on, guys, I'm about to cough. Boom. Sorry about that. Okay, if you haven't created a watermark yet, go to watermarks, hit new, either upload your own or use one of ours, get it in here, get it created, and then click on it, and then up in the top right corner, there'll be a button that says set as default. Go ahead and click that set as default button, and when you do that, from that point on, every single photo that you upload will get that watermark applied to it. So if you're going to watermark every photo that you upload, do yourself a favor, don't upload another photo until you go and you apply a default watermark. Now, if you've already uploaded some photos, you will have to go back and manually apply those watermarks, and I'm going to show you how to do that. So what you're going to do is you are going to click on a gallery right here. Okay, so you're going to click on a gallery, go to actions, and then go to add watermark right here. So you're going to click on a gallery, go to actions, click add watermark, and then you can choose which watermark you want to apply to that gallery. Now, if you've went inside of that gallery and maybe you've changed some of the settings for some of the images and they have their own settings, you might want to do a select all just to verify that the settings are the same. So that's next step is clicking select all, which is going to select all of the photos in the gallery. And then what you're going to do is after that, you're going to go to actions, and then you're going to do the same thing, which is add watermark. And that is going to apply the watermark to all of those photos. Now, what you want to do is when you do that, you want to choose the same as gallery settings. So that way, all the images watermark settings are following the gallery watermark settings. Now, you only need to worry about that step if you have gone in and changed your watermark settings for an individual photo. So if you've gone in here and you've changed the watermarks photo for an individual photo, that is when you need to do that. Now, if you're not seeing that option, I'm trying to say your name right, Siobhan. If you're not seeing that option, let me know if your header looks like mine in here or if you have the older version of Zenfolio, which the header looks a little bit different. And if that's the case, then I can kind of help you do that. Now, you can't apply watermarks to a group. So if I go to a group, this is a group, and I go to actions, there's no watermark option. So you do have to go to a gallery. So it has to be a gallery. So this is what a gallery looks like, and this is what a group looks like right here. So make sure that you're clicking on a gallery. So clicking on that gallery right here, and then going to actions and add watermark. So it's either you're on the older version of Zenfolio or you're clicking on a group, and that's why you're not seeing that option. Just let me know and I'll see if I can help or clarify more. All right, great question though. Lots of people ask about watermarks. If you've never created a custom watermark, there's a really good video tutorial on our YouTube channel called Creating Custom Watermarks. It will actually show you how to make your own watermarks in Photoshop and then get them uploaded in Zenfolio and get them set up in your account. So if you haven't created a custom watermark yet, I definitely recommend going in there and doing that. All right. But hopefully that answers your question there for that. If not, just clarify a little bit more in the chat and let me know, and I'll keep seeing if I can't get it answered for you. All right, let's see. A couple of email questions really quick. In pre-order, is there a way to make optional customer information fields? So that's a great question. Guys, if you haven't played around with pre-order yet, it's an amazing feature. There's lots of really cool stuff. We actually just recently introduced vendor fulfilled products in pre-order. There's a video on our YouTube channel. If I could get Richard to throw that link out in the chat, that would be awesome. There's a video on our YouTube channel that talks about how to use vendor fulfilled products in pre-order. Definitely go watch it if you're considering using pre-order. It's a great feature. But in pre-order, you have the option to have customer information fields where your clients, as they're checking out, they have to go in there and actually answer some questions. So let me just show you what those look like really quick. So we're going to go to selling, and then we're going to go down here to pre-order. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to jump into one of these demo pre-orders right here really quick. So I'm just going to hit the pencil icon and go in here. And then if we scroll down to the very bottom, we can go to next. And this is the customer information fields. This is the information that is collected from your clients when they check out through the pre-order. And at the moment, unfortunately, there's not a way to make any of these optional. They are all required for your clients to fill out. So, to help you a little bit more with that question, maybe you're asking for a team name, or maybe you're asking for something like maybe a student ID or something like that, or something that just the client is not going to know that information. The best thing to do is just to have them put NA in there if they don't know the answer to that. If they don't have that information, they have to fill it out. They can just write NA in the customer information field. But like I said, unfortunately, at the moment, it's not an option to have these marked optional. Your clients will have to go through and fill every one of these information fields out, which is why when you're creating your pre-order, I definitely recommend not adding as many of these as possible, which is 15, I believe, and just keeping this down to really what is the information that your clients need to give you to help you fulfill these pre-orders? What is the vital information that you need to fulfill these orders? Not adding a bunch of information fields like that are just, oh, it'd be nice to know this. Just add the ones that you really, really need, and that way it's easier for you and easier for your clients. All right, great question though. Let me jump back to photos. Guys, if you have questions in the chat, make sure that you get those answered. We've got about 20 more minutes left. Don't wait around. Make sure that you get those thrown in the chat so I can get those answered live for you guys today. Don't wait around. Don't sit on your question. Don't hope somebody else asks it. Just throw it in there. Promise there's no judgment. I'm going to answer as many questions as I can. All right, so let's go grab another email question really quick. Okay, so this question says, how do I offer only certain templates of products instead of all 20? So I think what you're talking about is when you're building a price list, your price list can have different products from our vendors, and some of those products can have template designs. So a great example is greeting cards, right? So you can have greeting cards from our vendors that have designs in there, and you can offer some in there. I did smile. You can offer some of those products that have templates where clients can pick and choose different greeting card designs, and they can drop their photos in there. And some of our vendors offer a lot of options. So just to kind of give you a visual of this, if I go to selling and I go to price list, let me grab some water here really quick. If I go to selling and price list, and then I go down to engagements, then what we're going to do is we'll just add in a product really quick that has a template design. So again, a good one is greeting cards. So if I go to add products and we go up here to MPix, and let me change my settings because I was working with somebody internationally earlier. If we go to MPix, let's go down to photo gifts, and then somewhere in here are going to be greeting cards. Where are they at? I don't even know where they're at. Let's see. Oh, you know what? I think they're in their own thing. Greeting cards. They're right in front of me in their own category. Sorry about that. So greeting cards right here. Here we go. And if you look right here next to them, it says 45 template designs are available. So what you... Magic mouse, that's not so magical. So what you want to think about, right, is that on the client side of things, do you really want to have to go through 45 different designs to select your design for your greeting card if you're a client? Probably not. And so what you can do, if you add that product to your shopping cart here, you can click on this edit template button right here, and it will show you all the available templates. So if it's Christmas time, right, you know that people are probably going to be ordering Christmas templates. If it's if this gallery is for graduation, you know that they're probably only going to be ordering, you know, cards that are based on that particular theme. So what you can do is, instead of offering all templates, you can say, I only want to make selected templates available. And then what you can do is you can go through here and you can say, okay, this is an anniversary. This isn't that. Let's go down here. Maybe it is not Easter, graduation. We'll do graduation. And so I only want to offer this graduation template, and this one. And then I can hit select. And so now if you'll notice up here, it says that there is only 3 design templates offered. That makes it a lot easier for your clients to go through and not have to go through as many different templates to get to ones that are just relevant for them. So definitely a good practice to have, right, is to making sure that when you offer these template products, that your clients don't have to go through a whole bunch of designs to pick the one that they want. So just to show you how it works really quick, I'm going to save this. And then what I'll do is I'll just jump into a gallery really quick. So let's go back to all photos. And let's go down here to, and let's go to this gallery. And then we're going to go up here to price list. And we'll apply that engagements price list here. Okay. Now, the next thing I need to do really quick is just make sure that I added that to my Quick Shop list, because I only use Quick Shop. It's my favorite client buying experience. It's super easy. So I just need to make sure I get those added over here and bringing those up to the top so they're easier to find. Okay, so now that we have that saved, let's go check out this gallery really quick. So what I'm going to do is open this up like a client would see it. And before I do that, let's make sure that visitor sign in is not turned on so I don't have to deal with that. And then let's save this. And the next thing we're going to do is go back to access, go to sharing. Where is that? Why am I not seeing sharing here? I'm missing it. Sharing. I'm blind today, you guys. Copy this. And then what we're going to do is go down here and click save. And in order to view this gallery like a client, you need to open it up in an incognito window. So I'm going to open up an incognito window and then just paste in that URL up here at the top. Now we're looking at this like a client would see it. If I click on a photo, here's Quick Shop coming up right over here. Here's that greeting card. If I click this, it's going to let me add or select templates. It's going to show me those template designs right here. So as you can see, with only 3 options to choose from, this is really easy. This is the one that I want, and continue, right? And then I would just add it to my cart or drag the photos over here that I want it to be in here. But if we had not gone through that process, if we had gone back to that price list and we had made all of the available templates available in there, that whole thing would be a considerably much different experience for your clients. So if we go into greeting cards really quick and we go back to edit templates and I just say, yes, let's have all available templates and let's save this in here. We're going to bring this gallery back over in that incognito window. I'm going to refresh this really quick and show you guys what that experience would be like for clients if you don't go through the process of narrowing down those templates. So now back here, and now we have all these different ones that we need to go through. Up here's categories. So like right here, there is categories, and they have all these different ones that they have to go through and kind of look at. And it's just a much different experience. Anytime I can take things out of my clients having to look through options, have to think about things, anytime I can streamline that process, I definitely recommend taking advantage of that to do that. All right, so let me go ahead and just cancel out of this, go back in here. But that is a great question. That's a great question. Let's see. It looks like Frozen Times says, how do I hide my keywords at the bottom of my blog post? if you don't want the keywords to show, okay, so I think what you're talking about is if you go to a blog post, so let's go to a website, let's go into blog, and let's go to a blog post here really quick. And down here at the bottom, I think you're wanting to hide these keywords right here, right? So if I go to save and preview, down here at the bottom, it has all of these keywords down here. I don't know if you can hide those or not. First question or first thing to think about, Frozen Time, is that Google only really takes into account actual information that people can read. And so on your blog post, having those keywords showing lets visitors actually read it, which might not be what you're wanting, but it does help the SEO for that blog post. If you're able to hide those, then Google is not going to see it as relevant information because it's not being seen by search engines. And therefore, it's not going to have as much benefit for your SEO as if it was showing. Now, I don't know if you can hide it, but we can see. The other thing as well is that these keywords also become clickable, so clients can click on these and they can see any other blog post, and my blog is non-existent as you can tell, but they can click on them and it'll go to other blog posts. It'll show blog posts that have those keywords in them as well. So if you really want to hide them, you're probably the easiest option is just to not include those in the actual blog post. So just not to keyword them, because if they're hidden, again, like I said, they're not really helping your SEO. But let me see if we can actually hide those really quick. So if I go up here to edit and I edit page, and then we go in here, let's go to options and see what we have. So page elements. So you can, I think, let's double check. So right here under, so if you saw what I did, I opened that blog post and then I hovered over the edit button and went to edit page. Now we're at page elements and there is a hide keywords here. And so if I hide that and I apply that, let me show you guys so you can see that. Let's see if that takes away those keywords. All right, so if you notice down here at the bottom, those keywords are gone. So it is possible to do that, but I would not advise it because those keywords are going to be helpful for your SEO, and you want to make sure that if you're actually putting in the time to keyword things, that you get the full benefit from it. So I would definitely let those keywords show. Okay, let's see. Great question though, Frozen Time Photography. That's a great question. I've never had anybody ask that before, so glad I could go in there and see actually how all of that worked. All right, so let's see. Let me grab another question here really quick. We got about 9 more minutes left, so make sure that you get your questions in the chat so I can get them answered for you guys live. I see you guys going. Let me grab one more email question really quick and then I'll come back. Let's see. Can I use my own greeting card designs to sell? Absolutely. So depending on the lab that you're using, some of the labs will allow you to upload your own custom designs. And there's actually some really, really good tutorials in our YouTube channel on creating your own custom designs. But in your account, you can go up here to selling right here. And then kind of below my head or behind my head here, if you click on template designs, you can actually go in here and create your own designs. So, or actually you can create the designs in here. You probably want to create them in Photoshop first, but before you start on Photoshop, you need to know a few things. So let's say you want to create a design for a greeting card. So first what you want to do is hit create new, okay? And then once you do that, it's going to take you to this page. Now, the next thing you're going to want to do is choose the vendor that you're using for your price list. Really important to do that. So click here. Let's say that we're using MPixLab. So now we could browse all of the products that we can create templates for in here. Or if you want to get really specific, you could just say, okay, I want to create a flat greeting card template. Now you can see the different designs that you have. So let's say that you want to create a flat 5x7 portrait orientated greeting card. So you're going to click portrait and that's going to load this up, and you're going to click this little X and then hit this upload background design. And what you want from here is you want the dimensions right here. So what you're going to do is after you get those dimensions, you're going to fire up Photoshop, set up those dimensions in there, and then create your design. Now, if you want to have it to where clients can drop photos onto your design, then what you're going to want to do is put in Photoshop, you're going to put a placeholder in there, like a color layer, as in the shape of the photo that you want, and then cut it out. Because when you're finished with your design, you're going to export it as a transparent PNG file, and anywhere you want photos to be dropped in needs to be cut out of that and transparent. And then when you upload it into here, we will automatically add a photo placeholder in that for you. And then what you can do is add text placeholders if you want, hit next, and then you save it, and then you can add that into your price list. Richard threw out a really good video tutorial on that. Definitely go and check that out. All right, let's see. Kimberly says, can you please explain the phone app? I can't get it to work on my end. So Kimberly, we have a couple of phone apps available. We have one that's for you, the photographer, the Zenfolio phone app. And what that is used for is you can upload photos from your phone. You can go in and kind of look at your images. You can do some other stuff, but it is not a full account management phone app. You can't go in there and customize your galleries, different things like that. It's really if you want to put it like on your iPad. So if you're like at a coffee shop and maybe you're talking to somebody and you want to show them some of your images, you can pull up your portfolio on there, or you can do different things, but it's not a full back-end account management app at all. Not really sure what you're trying to do on the app. Definitely feel free to reach out to our support team with more details. You can always contact them by going to zenfolio.com/contact. Or if you have the chat icon right here, you can reach out and chat with them. And really quick, if you guys have ever used our support team, they are phenomenal. They are the best support team, in my opinion, ever. They are all photographers, and they love you guys. They love helping you guys. So if you get a chance today, make sure that you hit that chat icon and just tell them how much you appreciate them. But if I could ask for you guys to do one favor for me, hit the chat icon and tell Amanda B happy birthday, because today is Amanda B's birthday. I don't know if she's going to be on chat, but she is one of our amazing support reps. She actually helps you guys out a lot with different products. She's a product specialist. She works hand in hand with Miller's, and she loves you guys. And today is her birthday, and so I want to wish her a very happy birthday. If you guys chat with anybody today, make sure to tell them to tell Amanda B happy birthday as well. All right. But back to your question, Kimberly, if you're having issues with that app, I really kind of need to know what's going on, which app you're using. And so just reach out to the support team and let them know, like, hey, I'm in the Zenfolio app and I'm trying to do this and this is what's happening. And let us know if you're seeing some kind of error. Send us a screenshot, and that's going to be the best way to get that answered is through them. That way they can actually kind of explore and experiment and see what's going on. But great question, though. I really appreciate that question. All right. Let's see. 4 more minutes left, guys. Again, if you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure that you click that subscribe button so you don't miss the notifications when we go live. And hey, if you're a podcast person, we actually have a podcast. You can go to Apple or iTunes podcast directory, look for Zenfolio video tutorials, and any time that we post a video on our YouTube channel or the recording of the live stream gets published, that actually pushes out as a video podcast to that. So if you want to get that to your phone, like maybe you saw me talk about something today and you want to know when the recording is going to be available, the best way is to subscribe to us in iTunes, and then you'll get that notification whenever the recorded version of this live stream is available. And if this is your first time hanging out with us and you're like, oh, is this recording going to be available? Absolutely, it'll be available on our YouTube channel. Actually, there's a link below this video right now that I think says Zenfolio Live Stream Archive. All of the old live streams go in there, and you can go back and watch any of the previous live streams you want to watch. They're all there. You can go back and check them out. If you ask questions on one and you want to go back and see what the answer was, they're in that live stream archive. All right, so let me see. 2 minutes left. Let me make sure I haven't missed any questions from you guys really quick. Let's see. think I got all of you guys' questions answered here. Let me see if I can grab another email question that I can answer really quick. How do I collect my money from Zenfolio after my orders are placed? That's a great question. Hopefully you guys all are asking that question, because hopefully you guys are all having orders being placed. It's really easy to get your money from Zenfolio after orders have been placed. You just have to go and request a payout for those funds. So any profit from your orders that come through vendor fulfilled products, that is going to be deposited into your Zenfolio account, and you just have to go and request a payout for that. So you're going to go to Selling, Reports and Payouts, and then click the Request Payout button right here, and then you just put this information in, and then you can have a payout sent directly to your bank if you're in the US and your payout's going to be in US dollars, or otherwise you can do a payout to PayPal. Now, in either case you choose, they usually take they can take from anywhere from 2 to 10 days. Usually it's pretty quick. Usually it's more on like the 2 to 3 day side. But just to let you know, we do tell people to allow 2 to 10 days. Now, there is no fee to request a payout. You can do these as many times as you want. We don't charge you. We don't limit you to how many times you can do these. There just is not a way to automatically set these up. You do have to go in and do a manual process. Now, the cool thing is if you leave money in your account, when your account is set to renew, we actually charge the account funds first before we charge your card. So definitely something to think about there. And Roxanne, I saw your question about these site reviews. There are so many. I am getting through them, and Richard is helping me, and Katie's been helping me. We are doing them as fast as we can. There's just not enough weeks or enough hours in the day to knock them out as fast as we want to. But I promise, I will get to yours. So keep it up. Okay, guys, 30 seconds left. So thank you again to all of you guys who are hanging out with me today. Will Crockett, thanks, Richard, for being awesome in the chat. Dwayne, Roxanne, Kimberly, Kathleen, I'll make sure I don't miss anybody's name here. Craigslist, and let's see, Frozen Time, and everybody that just hung out with me today. Thank you guys so much. Make sure that you come back for Site Review Tuesday. Until then, make sure that you have a great weekend. Do something nice for somebody. Make sure that you encourage somebody. Have a safe and wonderful weekend. I'll see you guys again next week. Hey, thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure that you click that subscribe button. And if you're watching the recorded version of this and you'd like to learn more about Zenfolio, I recommend watching some of the videos that you should see popping up on your screen.